Hey, Wakusu, what's going on, family? It's your Ndugu, Shaka Jajaga Shakur, aka M. Casa, the Bush Doctor, coming back at you with another episode of African Talk, where Africans talk worldwide. And as always, I hope you and your family are doing great, and I pray that the Creator and the ancestors guide my words in the right and not the wrong. Let's get at it. Let's do another episode. Right, all right. Here we go. Check it out, family. Yo, today I want to talk about the hypocritical state of America. You know what I mean? The two Americas that nobody likes to talk about. Let's get into it. Now, let me be clear. I'm talking about these recent accidents on the highway, truck driving accidents. And as a truck driver, I make no excuses for negligence behind the wheel at all. And I pray and I sympathize with all the ones who lost life. But let's call it what it is, man. There's a lot of racist nonsense going on here. And we act like we don't really see what's going on. So we're going to really chop it up about what's really going on. All right. Here you have the first accident in Florida with an Indian brother by the last name of Singh. He made the U-turn and the car crashed, killing everybody in the car. Boom. I mean, that thing blew up. It went all over the world, all over the media. It was all up in the Congress. They want to pass new legislation to prevent, illegal aliens. As I say, undocumented people, because I don't know what the hell an illegal alien is. But, I'm using their words. Illegal aliens from being able to drive trucks and be in the trucking industry, and how dare they, and all this other stuff. And then it went on to let's cite the companies that are putting these people on the roads. They're the most dangerous thing. And then you had the other racist truck drivers jumping in talking about, yeah, ever since these new truckers, these flip-flop wearers got in the game, it's been nothing but this, that, and the other, and they messed the whole game up, and yada 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 yada. Yo, the only thing that truck driver did was make a U-turn. That was wrong. And unfortunately, it caused the death of those motorists. As a truck driver, I see a lot of things out here, and it's not all caused by flip-flop wearing, as you put it, illegal aliens or people of color, period. There's a lot of white people out here. I see white truck drivers in these Peterbilts and these Mack trucks, pushing behind people, 2 feet behind them, forcing them off the road, forcing them into other lanes, cutting you off. I see it all, man. I see it all. But I also see the racism. I got a CB in my radio, in my cab. I listen. Sometimes I just turn on and listen to the racist back and forth comments that take place with white truck drivers out here on this road, right? So then, lo and behold, you have a accident that caused the lives of 8 people in one family. Truck driver was white, right? His name was, I believe, Kane Hammock, right? He didn't have on no flip-flops. He had on boots, I guess. I don't know. His last name wasn't Singh, and he's a registered American, white man, right? Okay. So the 2 Singh accidents, because 2 accidents just happened one other day in California and one over there in Florida. They're both Singh, S-I-N-G-H. I don't know if that's a name or a group family name, but they are both of that name of those people. And each of them were hit with felony charges, rightfully so. You took lives, out of negligence. So felony charges, held with no bail, prosecuted to the maximum extent of the law. Maybe even shipped out of the country because they're not documented, so they say. Hey, what's going on, fam? I just want to update you real quick on the case of Jasamprit Singh. I hope I'm saying that right. He's the truck driver who was involved in an accident in California. When he was involved in the accident, they said it was a DUI charge. He was under the influence on top of everything else. Well, toxicology proves he was not under any influence, no drugs, no alcohol. So the accident was either mechanical or driver error. Not cool either way, but no drug charges. Just want to bring you a quick update. Kane, on the other hand, the white man, responsible for 8 deaths, and not speculated, but confirmed vehicular negligence. They have footage of him on his phone, driving on his phone, distracted. It's been doctored, but the first report said that it is confirmed that he was distracted while driving. That's a big no-no as a driver. You never allow yourself to get distracted. Distracted while driving. And he caused those fatalities. But all his charges were misdemeanor charges. Now, for those of you that are not savvy with the law, when you have misdemeanor charges, your chances of bail increase by 1,000. It's almost guaranteed you're gonna get some bail. And then they give him a $98,000 bail. Now, when I was incarcerated as a kid, my bail was $2,500, and they say I only had to come up with 500. So if his bail is 98,000, how much does he have to come up with? I know it's like the 10%. That was like 9,000, maybe 98,000, 10% of that, right? Which I'm quite sure he was able to do. But he got to change. He's home now, waiting trial. And the case is hush hush. You don't even hear nothing about it. I don't see nobody on City Hall talking about Peterbilt driving white folks. I don't see nobody giving big speeches about rounding up and prosecuting all of the white drivers. As a matter of fact, after this case with this white man killing Mexican people, because they were Mexican, all I've seen is an increase in the stopping and the alleged harassing of and searching for, quote unquote, illegal alien drivers. Now they got this thing where you pull over, and if you can't read a book sufficiently, you lose your license. Do I agree with that? No, because half of y'all speak English and can't read. Let's be real. And reading a book without stuttering doesn't mean you can't read. You might not be able to read aloud, but if you know the words, you know the words. I am not a fluent Spanish speaker, but I can read Spanish and I know what I'm reading. Mentally, I know what the word means, but I stutter with the pronunciation. So does that mean that I'm not fit? You ever thought that maybe there are people who read English very well? They just don't speak it. They don't speak it at home. They don't speak it. They generally live in communities where they don't have to really flex the English language, but they know what you're saying and they can read it and they can even write it, but they haven't trained their tongue to speak it. Hell, every group of so-called Americans doesn't speak English properly. So I guess a person from England should come over here and take all our CDLs then, because none of us speak English properly. It's just more racist bullshit and another reason to be racist. Again, I'm not excusing the penalty, but look at the gross negligence, the hypocrisy of this country. I'm just sick of it, aren't you? And I'm not like most people. I'm not surprised at it because it's what you've been doing, right? You've been unfairly sentencing people of color, black people in particular, and turning a blind eye when your own do it. You claim that we, black people, are the most violent people on the earth, yet it is white men that continually mass shoot everything. Now, there was a mass shooting the other day in South Carolina. It was a young black boy, and they are pushing that one. And I think they found another one where possibly, I don't know, possibly another black child was involved with spraying up the crowd. They're going to push those narratives because they want to get off of being looked at as the one. But you are the one. I'm not saying it's cool. I don't think that truck driving schools should illegally pass people. But let's be real, man. It's not just black owned or black operated or Latino operated or Indian operated or people of color. Man, white people been taking bribes. You know how many white officers on the road get paid to turn a blind eye when they see something going on with another white driver? Or how many people just let them go because they're white? And no, I'm not making this up. This has been told to me by white drivers who tell me, yeah, I feel bad for y'all, man. Y'all catch hell. You know how much shit we get away with just because we're white? They give them the nod or the look, I'm just going to give you a ticket. I'm going to give you a citation. I'm going to give you a warning, whatever the case may be. But there's nothing to really damage their career. So let's I can't say let's. White people, stop it. You know what I mean? That man, Kane Hammock, should not be at home in Gainesville, Georgia, chilling. He should be behind bars. He killed 8 people. 8 people, innocent people. They didn't, it's not nothing to speculate. The guy made a U-turn and those guys hit him so hard they killed him. Now that can speculate. How close were they on the trailer? Because to make a U-turn, that's a big move for a truck. So what were you doing in your car that you didn't see him veer out the right lane like that? You're supposed to be alert, right? What were you doing that you couldn't brake and avoid that? That means you didn't leave yourself enough room as a driver for an escape. See, I could make all those arguments in those cases. But in the case of Kane Hammock, there's no argument. You ran into them. You mowed over them from behind because you were One, not paying attention. Two, to kill 8 people. How fast were you going, brother? You probably like the rest of your peoples, you know, gunning it on the floor like you own that arrogance, that white arrogance behind the wheel, like you own the road. And everyone else out here is subordinate to you because you're the white truck driver. You guys have been doing it. You the original truck drivers and everything, this, that, and other. Please spare me with it, man. You're like insecure children. You have to be seen. Well, you're gonna be seen, Kane Hammock. We see you, and we see what's not being done. And you mark my words. Watch how they somehow finagle it where he gets slapped in the wrist and keep his job. Watch. You can't make this shit up. You cannot make it up. The two Americas is real. So pay attention to it and be aware. And bigger so, this whole play, because like it or not, the Indian population has got a strong hold on the trucking industry. Good for them. I'm not even mad. Good for them. But white people are pissed because Trump promised you money you're not getting. You realizing you in the same boat as us, white man. So now you're using those unfortunate situations as an excuse to go after the whole population of Indian truck drivers. But the reality is the money is not the way it is in trucking because of greedy brokers, majority of whom are white. I deal with them every day. I'm not talking to black people or Indian people. I talk to a lot of white people every day. So I know who runs the broking side of it, the brokering side of it. So let's keep it real. It never ceases to amaze me. It never gets old, the racism. But I'm going to call it out, though. That man needs to be in jail, waiting his fate just like those other guys. He did the same crime. You killed people in your truck. You like me, you're a professional driver. We signed a contract that we are professional drivers and that we're responsible for whatever happens while we're in these rigs. So take your licks like a man. Don't hide behind your color. For real. Wukusu.